great prompt, actually. My biggest criticism of the GT3 is that it has a small fuel tank. Now, I don't know if in right-hand drive markets you could spec the 991 GT3 with an upgraded fuel tank or not. I could be wrong, but the one I have is around about 60 litres, and yeah, when you're on it, it does run out quicker than you like. I'm yet to take this thing on any long road trips, so we'll see then how often I have to stop and fill up, but it can be a pain. It can be. When you're on this thing, it does sap the juice, and that combined with a smaller fuel tank, not ideal. So yeah, mark down on small fuel tank. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it now, but the front axle lift activates so fast, and that is both up and down. I think it just sucks in air from the atmosphere, compresses it, and up it goes. It's like whoop, straight up. And when you're pressing it down, this is the coolest thing. All of the air from the compressed air pump just depletes, and you hear this, you know, the whole thing just drops down, and you're off instantly. You don't have to wait for that nose to drop or anything like that, which is cool. The sound, this is a completely standard stock GT3, and you know, everyone says the first thing you should do with this car is stick an exhaust on, because it's going to unlock its full sound potential. But honestly, I mean, I'm not sure if any of you watched my previous clip, but when I bought this car, I did mention that even before I collected it, I was researching the best options for exhausts. 5 minutes down the road after jumping it, I thought, you know what, I could live with this for quite a while without having to upgrade it, and because from stock, it just sounds so good. Honestly, the R8 is not a patch on how good this thing sounds. Even from stock, it is fantastic. And that gear shift, I mentioned in the R8 that I think the gear shift is as fast. No way, this thing has a different league. It just smacks it into gear for you. It feels so good. So what I'm going to do now is get out of town and try and find us some half decent roads to which to open this thing up on. Whoa. So what I was mentioning in the Audi was, it has what I call Audi polish, which is basically making what could be quite a leery supercar into something that is usable every single day. And while this is usable, Audi polish just tones everything down just a notch. You know, it's not as loud as this, the ride isn't as stiff as this, and I suppose it's got the added practicality of the four-wheel drive Quattro system. I don't know how much I'm benefiting from that. I know the car has so much grip, but this thing has more, and it doesn't have a Quattro system. So what they've done with the Porsche is, even though it's in a package which you can use every single day, when you get up it, it's serious. It is awesome. Now, where isn't this thing so practical? Well, half of this is my fault, because I went for the Club Sport package, which basically gives you roll cage at the back, which you can still put bags in there, but just not as easily, and you have to pull the seat forward and sort of wedge bags in. Yeah, with Club Sport pack, we've got the fixed carbon bucket seats, and the only compromise with these, I find, is getting in and out of the car. Your arse sits so low in these, and these sort of thigh sides are so high, that getting in and out of them, it really is like getting out of a bucket. It's quite a solid seat to jump in and out of. They worked magic with this thing. What it's like. that. It does that noise there. I think what's interesting about this, as an observation in my own self, driving the R8 and the Porsche back to back, I'm sure you can see it, the enthusiasm in myself just being in this car is turned up to 11. In fact, scrap 11, 12. This is just a new thing, a new yeah, it's a different level of excitement with this thing. And again, I was going to comment, earlier that we had the Quattro system and maybe it doesn't have as much grip. This thing has more grip. I don't know how they do it. It has more grip. We're on cold, damp roads, and the turn-in is superior to the R8. The acceleration is superior. Special piece of kit we got ourselves here, guys. Very special piece of kit. Yes, so transitioning from that, the handling, well, we all know Porsche have a special niche within the handling department, as it were. And this, for me, is my first proper Porsche. When I say proper, I mean something from their GT lineup. And, you read about the steering feel, and I don't mean to sound sort of generic and like a stereotypical journalist, but for want of a better word, the feel in this car, it makes the R8 steering feedback and feel, I can only describe it as hollow. It doesn't quite give you that degree of feedback that this is giving you, which is quite surprising because this isn't even the old school, 997 hydraulic steering rack. These guys have, clamped this onto an electro rack, and it's one of, if not the best steering feel I've ever felt, really. It's a marvelous piece of kit. Ride comfort, however, the ride comfort in the GT3, if you're on the wrong road, and by wrong road I mean a bumpy road, it'll shake the hairs out of your moustache, is what I would say. See, so I'm just getting carried away driving this thing. I think this says it all, really. I went in this with quite a structured, calculated way of explaining to you the comparisons and differences between this and the R8, but yeah, it's one squeeze of the accelerator and a few turns and you know where you stand in this one. Fantastic. So, interior. Well, I've got to be honest with you, Porsches of old, I haven't really been a fan of the quality of the interior, and when I say by old, I mean taking the R8, fundamentally the internals of that car haven't really changed since they launched it in 2007. So even 2008-9 cars, they were tweaked here and there, but the level of refinement in this, considering the nature of this car, it is supposed to be a bit more of a stripped out lightweight sports car. Yeah, again, superior to the R8. Okay, it's a generation on, this is a 2014 car. I just find every touch point in this, everything you want to put your fingers on or interact with, they've gone to the next level to make everything feedback and feel nice, feel quality, And earlier in the R8, again, I was talking about the feel of the paddle, and while that might, sound a bit of a trivial thing, these little things here, these two flappy paddles, are the first and last thing you interact with in order to change gear, and how these things throw, how they feel upon completion of depression, it's an important thing. And this feels more like I'm pulling a paddle, whereas in the R8 it feels a little bit more like I'm pulling a button. So in that sense, the interaction with changing gears is nicer. The number one thing for me is to put a smile on your face and make you feel good. The R8 does that. This injects you in the arm with just happy juice. It's a fabulous piece of kit, and it's the kind of car that you want to get in, drive, and just keep driving, and drive some more. get on the Channel Tunnel and just keep driving. It's that